Capital Athletic Conference. Southern Virginia University ranked 10th. That is last place in the Capital Athletic Conference. The Knights looking to get back on track here following a loss at University of Mary Washington on Wednesday, where they lost 87-64 to the Eagles of Mary Washington. Today's game against York College, they're second against the Spartans this season after 3 weeks ago visiting York College in Pennsylvania and getting routed by the Spartans overall, losing 100-60. The Knights certainly looking to build upon mistakes made in that game and hoping to learn from what they learned, or build upon what they learned about the Spartans in that game as a team overall, and hopefully able to play some better defense, get some better offense going, and really exploit the key players on the Knights' offense and defense to come away with the win here at home.
Knights are also coming off 2 road losses back-to-back, as Jake mentioned before. That, of course, they had the tough 1-point loss at home. Maybe still trying to shake that one off to Frostburg. But when you look at the starting rotation, Shea Douglas has been getting a lot of playing time, obviously, throughout the season, and has really been stepping up his game offensively. And also a couple other players have been getting a lot of extra playing time here in the last couple of days.
Absolutely. In a situation such as the Knights, when you're not winning as many games as you hope to, lots of players get opportunities to step up. Coach Caputo especially looking for the players who are going to step up and make the plays necessary to win basketball games. And so, as you said, Jim, that's the natural result of the situation that the Knights find themselves in with regard to their record. Lots of guys getting opportunities to play today. Rashae Douglas, a very consistent, dominant player for the Knights. Also, Aaron Rumbaugh on the court today. This sophomore Aaron Rumbaugh from North Bend, Washington, actually Auburn, Washington, I stand corrected, averaging 5.2 rebounds a game, 18 steals on the season, and averaging about 10 points a game. Rumbaugh will also look to make a large impact against the Spartans.
Also starting Chris Richardson, as you mentioned, Rumbaugh and Shea Douglas and Cale Thornton, and also starting today, Alec Johnson, the freshman.
Absolutely.
So we are ready to go here from the Knight Sports Arena. For those who were not with us in the opener in the first game today, it was Southern Virginia women falling to York 84-61. And we are underway here from the Knight Sports Arena in men's college basketball action. Knights again looking for their second win of the conference. They beat Mary Washington a few weeks back here at home, facing a York team that is again 6-5 in the conference, but only a game ahead of the teams right behind it. So this York team, as far as making the postseason tournament in the conference, Jake, they are a little bit a tougher situation than the women's team from York. They needed to get a win today, and there's a big basket right off the bat for the Knights by Shea Douglas.
York coming out and playing some pretty intense defense man-to-man to start the game, but the Knights able to find a few gaps, and Shea Douglas able to drive down the center of the lane and get an easy 2-point bucket.
And Blade Reich had his shot blocked by Aaron Rumbaugh. Loose ball's picked up by the Spartans. Foul called inside. First foul of the game.
Aaron Rumbaugh chasing that ball down and getting a block right off the glass to start the game. Great defensive momentum that the Knights need to start with. Unfortunately, getting the foul, the Spartans will have a chance to answer with 2 points from the line, but they're going to have to earn it.
Jason Beatty, the foul shooter. And he hits the first foul shot. He's a 6-foot sophomore from Westchester, Pennsylvania,
who has made a large impact for the Spartans this season, averaging 5 rebounds a game, second on the team in rebounds, 13 blocks on the season, also second in blocks overall, which is pretty impressive for a point guard, and then 31 steals on the season, averaging about 10 points a game.
And he got 1 out of 2 foul shots, 2-1. Knights lead here by 1 early on. Aaron Rumbaugh with it. Cale Thornton way outside. Passes down low, ball kicked away, picked up by the Spartans. It's Beatty with it. This is Beatty on the right side. Now Frondheim. Now Reich will shoot from way outside. He misses. Alec Johnson with another rebound.
The Knights coming into this game, Jim, averaging 41% from the field, 28% behind the arc, and about 18 turnovers a game. They'd like to have that turnover number a little lower, not horrible, but hopefully they'll be able to mitigate the amount of turnovers they have today. Unfortunately, already with 2 against the Spartans if they're going to come away with the win. And
it'll be a 3-point shot for York from the right side. An off-balance shot, no good. Chris Richardson battling for the rebound, lost it to Beatty. So York still has the basketball, trailing here 2-1. Mike Fronham, pass, Aaron Rumbaugh, steal, and slam.
Rumbaugh fired up after the slam. The crowd certainly fired up as well. Like I said, Jim, the Knights can be dangerous at home, especially when they gain momentum. Picking up a foul here for a shove. Shea Douglas getting a little intense as well. The Knights are going to have to be able to channel the intensity and the momentum that they're gaining here at the beginning of the game for their benefit. It can go one of two ways. Some teams find and channel their intensity and end up picking up fouls, and some teams get points. Hopefully the Knights find themselves in the latter situation.
That foul on the up-court efforts by York, so really not a crucial situation here for Shea to pick up a foul, and now a foul on Blade Reich of York, trying to battle Chris Richardson for the ball. Shea Douglas, the leading scorer this season for the Knights, averaging 13 points a game. And right behind him is Aaron Rumbaugh. Knights lead here 4-1, and Alex Johnson having a hard time getting that ball in, just throws it off Reich to avoid the 5-second call. York with backcourt pressure. Knights trying to work it up court. Now Chris Richardson, who's really been stepping up his offensive game of late. Working on Fronheim. Passes to Thornton. Couldn't handle the pass. Tough play there for the Knights. Turnover. Ball goes back to the Spartans.
You see Thornton turning to go to the bucket before he even had the ball in his hands there. You got to make sure the ball's in the hands before you make a shot at 2 points there. Unlucky for Cale Thornton.
3-point lead for the Knights. Mike Fronheim over to Beatty with Rimbaugh on him. The long three-pointer outside is no good by Scamuffo, and Thornton rips down the rebound. Both teams in the first 3 minutes of this contest really struggling on offense. Richardson, nice pass to Rimbaugh. Spins baseline, out of control, gets it back to Richardson. Now to Thornton. Knights are just having a hard time getting a hold of the ball. Foul call on York. So Beatty will pick that one up. That's his first.
York playing extremely aggressive defense right now. Picked up 2 fouls already. The Knights struggling to make something happen here on the offensive end, although they do lead 4-1, having a hard time finding opportunities for clean shots as York is playing some pretty sticky defense currently. But as long as the Knights can continue to draw fouls, they'll stay in the advantage.
And each team has 2 team fouls early on. Played just over 3 minutes of this first half. Aaron Rimbaugh will trigger the inbounds. Not had a substitution as yet in this first half. Pass knocked out of bounds. 24 on the shot clock.
You'd almost think that if both defensive sides or both defensive units continue to play like this, Jim, it might be a low-scoring game.
Certainly, if it dictates like it's been going in the first 3.5 minutes, neither team has really been lighting it up. Here's Shea Douglas, and he misses from outside. And Reich grabs the rebound. York is yet to get a basket. They just have the 1 foul shot. Fronheim, nice backdoor pass, and Cale Thornton is going to be called for a foul on Scamuffo. He was passing, so it's a non-shooting foul. 3rd team foul on the Knights.
Definitely a little bit of bodily contact there by Cale Thornton. The foul, good call by the refs.
Gordon is double-teamed over to Beatty. Here's Scamuffo working on Shea Douglas. He got free, and he scores. First basket of the game by York.
Good aggressive drive there by Scamuffo, going up with the left hand. Impressive. Cut through about 3 guys on the Knights defense there to get the basket.
So York has its first basket of the game, 3rd point, 4-3, Knights by 1. Thornton, nice pass to Rimbaugh. His reverse layup attempt, no good. And now Beatty works it up court. He'll try to go coast to coast. He loses the ball. Richardson back the other way on a fast break. Chris Richardson, blinding speed, runs into Frauenheim, and Frauenheim's going to pick up that foul because obviously he did not have position.
Absolutely not, Jim. A pretty big collision there between Frauenheim and Richardson, but as you said, Frauenheim obviously looking more like a football tackle there on the court with no position. Feet certainly weren't playing it. Easy call for the referees, and that will be the third team foul for York, tying Southern Virginia's 3-team fouls.
Tyler McCready into the game. Pass to him, knocked away. Tyler had a good game the other night. Here is a jump shot by Rimbaugh. Three-pointer, left corner. Knights by 4, 7-3 now.
Rumba only shooting 25% from the three-point line, but he's typically a very good shooter when left wide open in that case. And that was the case right there on that last possession. He gets the 3 points.
Shea Douglas just picked up his second foul with a little hook over the body, as Michael Price will check in to replace Shea Douglas. So Shea Douglas, 2 quick fouls in the opening 5 minutes.
And honestly, the 2 fouls against Douglas haven't really been good fouls on his part. He's been a little too aggressive on the defensive end, just little reach-ins or contacts behind the three-point line. He's got to be able to fix that if he hopes to stay out of foul trouble for the rest of this game and keep the impact.
Michael Price is going to pick that one up. I guess that was one of those calls where maybe you could let it go, but there was contact, and Price, they say, initiated, so that is quickly 5 team fouls now on Southern Virginia University. And a pass, another foul call. Looks like McCready going to pick up this one for maybe a hold, and suddenly the Knights have 6 team fouls. Now suddenly York is ready to start shooting foul shots in a 1-on-1. Three-pointer left corner by York is no good. Rebound, long rebound, pulled down by York. And that's going to be a traveling call on York as Jared Wagner will pick up that travel. So York is really struggling on offense, just 3 points in 5 minutes there, Jake. But then again, they'll be shooting foul shots the rest of the way here in this first half.
Absolutely, the Knights going to need to stay out of foul trouble.
Rimbaugh couldn't get the layup to go. The rebound comes away to Wagner. Jared Wagner of York back the other way in a hurry. Three-pointer by York is on the way. No good again. Long rebound of the Knights. York has just 1 basket in over 5 minutes. Nice no-look pass to Price, who couldn't handle the pass, and he walks with the basketball. That was a great no-look pass by the Knights.
Great opportunity and great heads-up play by Chris Richardson. Even great play by Michael Price with the great cut on the Knights' play that they had drawn up there. Like you said, Jim, unable to control the ball in his hands, ends up in his gut, and he ends up taking about 3 steps before he can gain control. Travel for the Knights.
So the Knights still have a 4-point lead here, 7-3. They'd like to build upon this lead while York is struggling on offense. This is Gallick with it. Over to Frauenheim. Shot clock at 10. Wagner back to Frauenheim. He'll fire a 3. Up and no good. And Alec Johnson, nice rebound there.
York not shooting as well as they have been all season so far in the first 6 minutes of this half. If the Knights can capitalize on the offensive end, they can get a pretty good lead here, going here.
Lob down low to McCready. Got a 3, and it's 9-3 Knights.
And that's exactly the kind of offensive possessions the Knights need to have. Exploiting the mismatch down there with Tyler McCready. It wasn't number 40, Zach Galick, for the York, who was on McCready and able to exploit the size mismatch there. Easy bucket for the Knights.
And another foul called as the Knights are going to make substitutions.
The Knights now with 6 team fouls, only 1 away from the bonus, and we're not even halfway through the first half, Jim. The Knights are going to need to stay out of foul trouble here if they hope to,
I felt like I didn't just want to learn how to create art, I wanted to know what to create art about. At Southern Virginia, you're exposed to great art and ideas, getting the best of basically what the whole world has to offer. Professor Himes helps me so when I do create art, it can connect with other people. I don't want to just be a good artist, I want to be a good person who is an artist. I'm Corey Egbert and I'm a knight.
.23 left in this first half. 9-3 Knights by 6. Price on the far side. Gets it over to Langford. This is Justin Langford. Nice backdoor pass to Chris Richardson. Over to Price. Price will fire. It hits.
Great up there, able to get over the defender with a very high jump in the jump shot. Great basket by Michael Price.
8-point lead. Steal. Michael Price. He charges back the other way for a layup and scores. The Knights quickly have that 10-point lead.
The Knights definitely looking like they might have figured the Spartans out a little bit, having learned a lot from their last blowout against the Spartans at York College of Pennsylvania just a couple of weeks ago, as the Knights take an early 10-point lead.
13-3, Knights on top, and a foul called on York, I believe. Going to be an offensive foul on Kevin Callahan. Or are they going to say the ball was simply out of bounds? Last touch by Callahan. Apparently that's the case. It is York knocking the ball out of bounds. Turnover for the Spartans. Knights have the ball in a 10-point lead. Kellen Winslow up court in a hurry. Winslow out there along with Langford, Richardson, McCready, and Price. McCready gets it. Goes to the basket. What a scoop shot, but he just couldn't get the roll.
Great move by Tyler McCready. Unlucky, you going up with the left hand. Not able to get it, but gets the turnover right there. Great heads-up play by Tyler McCready using his size to create the turnover.
Just a freshman making a big defensive play. And York continues to struggle with 3 points in 8 minutes. Just one basket in 8 minutes. McCready with a stuff.
Boom! Big slam dunk by Tyler McCready down low by the freshman.
York might need another timeout. 15-3 Knights. This is Wagner driving, and he got free and scores. 15-5. Backcourt pressure by the Spartans, and a steal, and almost a layup, but the Spartans couldn't get the roll that time on their own layup attempt, and the Knights dodge a bullet there. Kellen Winslow with it. And his pass knocked out of bounds. Knights have 19 on the shot clock as Jace Edmonds will check in for Chris Richardson. It's a 10-point Southern Virginia University lead. Now Cale Thornton is going to check in for McCready.
McCready a little winded, but you better believe after the way he's been playing in the beginning of this first half, in the first 9 minutes, he's going to get a lot more playing time tonight, Jim.
10-point lead. He got the start last time out. Last game on the road. 8 on the shot clock and a steal by York. Knights got that lead up to 12. Right now it's 10. York trying to cut into it. This is Beatty. Outside, they go with the pass now inside to Reich. He's working against Thornton and loses it. Knights will have the basketball on a York turnover.
Great job by Jace Edmonds crashing down. Wakil Thornton's playing defensively against Blade Reich. Jace Edmonds comes down there, gets a hand in there, and forces the uncontrolled shot by Blade Reich, and it goes out of bounds. After which, Jason Reich getting a little bit of a scuffle. You can see the intensity building here between the teams.
Yeah, you got to figure with the way York has played on offense here in the first, almost 10 minutes, Jake, you got to figure there's a certain amount of frustration starting to set in for them.
Especially for a team like York, who's coming off 3 weeks ago.
Price is fouled.
A 40-point win over the Knights. Certainly going, what's going on now? We're down 10 to the team we just beat by 40 3 weeks ago.
And another foul on York will send Michael Price to the foul line. Michael doing a good job drawing the contact and at the last second getting a shot off to earn 2 foul shots. As that foul is called on Brad Wesner. Price at the foul line hits. He is averaging 6.8 points a game, 79% foul shooter. He's kind of struggled on offense last few weeks, but got his first foul shot to go to give the Knights an 11-point lead. Hits again. 12-point Knights lead. Matching their biggest lead of the game so far. Frauenheim gets it over to Wagner. Now Reich with a cross-court pass. Long jump shot by York is no good from three-point land. They got the rebound, though. That's Frauenheim working his way out. Beatty driving. Can't get the shot to go. Rebound, Michael Price.
Almost a foul there against Jason Beatty as he sticks the leg out and Edmonds trips over it. You're almost surprised not to see the call there.
A little bump there, too. Here's Price with it. Shot clock at 13. Long three. Good.
And he gets it. Absolutely beautiful. Nothing but nylon shot by Michael Price from behind the arc, who was absolutely fired up as the Knights take the defensive spot.
9th three of the season for Michael Price. Biggest lead of the game so far for the Knights, 15 points, 20-5 Southern Virginia. Reich battling on Thornton, and he scores. Timeout is taken by York. It's a 13-point lead, though, for Southern Virginia.
Looks like the Knights are just doing what we talked about during the last timeout. We'll continue to talk about it more after these messages, Jim.
Don't remember seeing that last time.
High school, I never felt really pushed, and I kind of lost a love of learning. When you can have a whole semester of classes where every one of your professors, you can just say, like, I have an amazing professor, but for every class, I just don't think that happens everywhere else. There's true friendships that develop here. I have good friends from another college, I have good friends from high school, but I have great friends here.
My name is Bubba Eisenhower, and I'm a Knight.
Points.
Absolutely, the Knights have gained a lot of momentum here in the first half, playing with a lot of intensity and heart here at home, hoping not to have a repeat of their last game against York College only 3 weeks ago where they lost by 40. Now the Knights find themselves up by 13 points in an impressive show in the first 11 minutes of this first half.
Price with another three. This one's too strong, but they're a long rebound to Jace Edmonds. And now Winslow will fire. It hits!
You know, I was talking about that exact shot about Kellen Winslow with Nick Porter, the SID here at Southern Virginia University the other day. You almost believe that every single game Winslow's going to make that exact shot. A lot of times misses, but this time nails it.
That's his 7th three of the season as York misses a three, and now we've got a foul call It'll go against the Spartans. There's nothing going right for the Spartans right now. They trail by 16 points. I don't know if it was York taking the Knights lightly or this is just a huge off night for the Spartans, but whatever the case is, they trail by 16 points, and the Knights are in great shape here with still 8 minutes to go until halftime, 8:15 on the clock.
It's hard to say what it is, Jim, but that certainly could be it, and it would be hard not to be complacent after winning 40 points against a team. But complacency is the enemy of excellence, and right now it's getting the best of the Spartans.
Michael Price, long three. This one's just short. That was just too far out, I guess, and the rebound comes away to the Spartans. Up court in a hurry is Gordon. Charging is the call, as Michael Price was there for the drawing of the charge.
Heads up play by Michael Price right there to get his feet set. As number 20, Darren Gordon, took the drive. Offensive foul against the Spartans and the Knights will regain possession, up 16 here with 7:53 to go left in the first half.
And Michael Price checks out what a first half he has had so far. Sam Armstrong replaces him.
Sam Armstrong back from his LDS mission recently. He is the sophomore out of Buena Vista, Virginia. His father's actually a philosophy professor here at the university, with an impressive return back to the Knights basketball program this season, shooting especially well from three-point range.
He had those big threes in that really close one-point loss to Frostburg, last home game for the Knights. Hadn't received a whole lot of playing time up until that Frostburg game, and then suddenly with the game on the line, he had two big three-pointers to help the Knights make a comeback. 16-point lead. We'll see if the Knights can build upon this lead. Nice pass to Thornton. And they're going to say Cale Thornton used his arm to get free. Call the foul on Cale Thornton. Non-shooting foul, even though that was the 17th foul of the Knights. You know, the key here, Jake, with 7:33 to go is for the Knights not to let this lead slip away, to try to build upon it and really, maybe ideally, get York behind by 20 or more by halftime.
You got to lock down on defense here. Don't get complacent with a 16-point lead at all. You can't give the Spartans absolutely any room to believe whatsoever.
And Winslow just fouled Scamufo, which will send Scamufo to the foul line to shoot a 1-on-1.
Winslow, a historically very intense player. Once again, another one of those fouls that we saw Rashae Douglas getting in trouble with early in the first half. You just got to control your body there, Jim.
He's a 74% foul shooter, is Scamufo. He's their leading scorer, averaging over 15.5 a game. 1-on-1. Missed it. Nothing going right for the Spartans right now. Rebound, Knights. See if the Knights can continue to build upon this 16-point lead. Over to the left side to Winslow for a three. Missed that one too long, and the rebound to Scamufo. That would have brought the house down if that had gone. Reich doesn't take the jump shot from outside. Gordon will, though, and he hits.
Wide open is Darren Gordon there on the three-point shot. Gordon averaging only 30% behind the arc. Wide open shot there goes.
And it makes it 23-10. See how the Knights respond to that York College three-pointer. Bump outside, no call. This is Armstrong with the shot clock at 8. They're going to have to hurry here. Armstrong going to have to fire from deep. And he hits.
And he gets it. As we said earlier, Jim, Armstrong with the absolute three-point clinic so far this season, really making a name for himself in the Knights program.
And that just shows confidence there, Jake, where the shot clock winding down, the confidence is to say, hey, I'm just going to shoot this in three-point land. I have no problems doing that.
And on the defensive side of the ball, the defender knows with the shot clock winding down that the guy he's guarding is going to pull up. And if he hits it anyway, that's also just a momentum deflator for the defender there on the Spartan side of the ball, as the Knights answer back with a three-point shot. Back up 16 points. Southern Virginia 26, York College of Pennsylvania 10.
And Winslow committed his second foul, which will send York to the foul line for a 1-on-1 with Scamufo shooting. Substitutions into the games for the Knights as Richardson checks back in. McCready also back in. And Rumball, along with Alec Johnson now, and Armstrong stays out there. Another miss. Another miss on a 1-on-1. That's 2 misses on 1-on-1s for York, Jake, and they're down by 16 and not getting any closer.
Pretty uncharacteristic as well, as they are typically a 72% free throw shooting team. They make those kinds of shots.
Armstrong on the right wing. Shot clock at 9. He'll fire again and miss that one. Alec Johnson knocks it out of bounds. It's going to be York basketball with 5:37 to go to halftime. Knights have led all the way. 16-point lead right now. Wagner to Fraunheim. Cross court to Wesner. Back to Fraunheim for a 3. Missed it. Soaring for the rebound. York gets the rebound, and McCready picks up the foul. And that will send Gordon to the foul line for the Spartans.
Good movement there by York College as the Knights crash down with Gordon initially driving the ball, passes out to Fraunheim, who passes right back down to Gordon, who draws the foul. Good overall movement.
Langford will check in for McCready. Gordon hits the first foul shot, 26-11, 15-point Knights lead. Two foul shots in for Gordon, 26-12. Backcourt pressure by the Spartans. This is Alec Johnson, right wing. Now Langford, shot clock at 11. Armstrong. Room ball. Will he take the jump shot? Langford will take from the baseline, and no good.
It almost looked as if Rumball was thinking about taking that shot almost about 4 times before he decided to dish it off to Langford. Unfortunate possession for the Knights. Spartans ball.
Outside it's Galick, and he hits. And suddenly York on a 4-0 run to cut a 16-point lead down to 12. Rumball's got the outlet, tries the behind-the-back dribble, goes all the way, and almost got a chance at a 3-point play. Fouled by Gordon, he'll get 2 foul shots.
That would have been extremely impressive, Jim, as Rumball finds himself double-teamed, splits the 2 with a behind-the-back dribble, and almost gets the bucket to go. He'll still have 2 shots. Overall, good free throw shooter is Aaron Rumball.
69% foul shooter. Hits the first one.
The Knights need to continue to play sticky defense. Even if York is able to start picking up some speed, that wouldn't be necessarily because the Knights are giving up on defense. I mean, York is getting unlucky with a lot of missed shots. The Knights just have to find the answer on the offensive end to at least not let the lead diminish.
Another York timeout with 4:24 to go. 28-14 Knights by 14 points here. A lot of home games coming up for the Knights. Next Wednesday, they get Marymount. And then a week from today, they'll be getting Penn State Harrisburg. Both Marymount and Harrisburg, really middle of the conference teams.
Absolutely, Jim. The Knights getting a lot of opportunities to play at home in the final games of the season. After tonight, they will only have 6 games left, 4 of which will be at home. Marymount, Penn State, Harrisburg, before they go on the road against Frostburg and Salisbury, and then return home against conference leader Christopher Newport, and then St. Mary's of Maryland to end out their season.
Yeah, CNU having a heck of a season, I guess, Jake, both
like
for
always.
The men's and women's teams.
Yeah, like always. It doesn't seem to change much.
Long 3, outside by Wagner, no good. Reich with the rebound. He loses control of it. Picked up by a teammate. Reich back the other way against Langford. And they call a foul on the Knights, so Blade Reich will go to the foul line.
Interesting call there by the referee. It almost looked like Langford just got ball as Reich went up. But they seem to be a little closer than we are, Jim. Probably saw something we didn't, and Reich will go to the free throw line to shoot a pair of free throws.
Another miss for York. Don't have the stats, but I'm going to guess that's 3 or 4, maybe even 5 misses at the foul line here for York, which you can ill afford if you're York, down by 14 points.
And Reich is a 77% free throw shooter, gets 1 of 2 there.
So it's a 13-point Knights lead, 28-15. Knights work it up court to Alec Johnson. Knights aren't really looking to run the clock per se, but they're in no hurry to use up the shot clock. Now with a 13-point lead, it's Langford outside. Shot clock's at 8. Now Armstrong. Alec Johnson on a drive. He can't get it to go. Tip no good by Alec Johnson, but there's Langford to clean it up.
Great tip by Alec Johnson to provide the opportunity for Langford to get the offensive rebound and put it in the easy basket, uncontested in the paint.
Reich will fire a 3. Good. Wow, Blade Reich from way outside hits. And Blade Reich, that's his 7th three-pointer of the season. He came in averaging 12.5 a game. Pulls the Knights deficit down to 30-18, and now Richardson is called for a travel. So suddenly York, after that Reich three-pointer, only trailing by 12 now, trying to make a little run here before halftime.
York certainly picking up speed. The Knights need to be able to answer on the offensive end, not playing bad defense at all, as they've only allowed 18 points in this first half, but the Knights need to be able to find the answers on the offensive side of the ball.
Pass into Reich. Now a long three-pointer is an air ball by Wagner. But the loose ball saved by York. They missed the shot inside, but there is another shot attempt, no good. This is Wagner outside. Comes to Wesner. Wesner's pass almost intercepted. And now Alec Johnson finally comes away with it. And he's fouled by Frauenheim. Alec Johnson defensively making some big plays there after York had 3 or 4 cracks at it.
Honestly, great effort on both sides of the ball. York continued to go up and get the offensive rebounds. The Knights continued to get almost steal opportunities. The Knights eventually come off with the turnover against York College of Pennsylvania. Great effort by both teams on that possession.
Alec Johnson, 76.5% foul shooter, averaging 4.3 a game this season. He'll try to build upon a 12-point lead. 1-1, got the first one. And Alec hits them both. 14-point Knights lead.
Alec Johnson getting a lot of starts this season for the Knights. Obviously not averaging a ton of points per game, but a great mental leader and provides a lot of assists for the Knights.
Wesner driving and scoring. They got Jared Wagner. Wagner with the bucket, 32-20. And the lead is 12 right now. .210 left till halftime. Shot clock at 13. Michael Price, he's had some big plays in this first half. Now Alec Johnson gets it over to Rimbaugh. Baseline drive, and he is fouled. That's going to bring up foul shots here for the Knights with 1:57 to go till halftime.
The foul will go against Matt Scamuffo against Aaron Rimbaugh down on the baseline for a little push. Aaron with his second trip to the free throw line this afternoon.
Missed that one. One more still coming. Double bonus for both teams with 1:57 to go till halftime. One out of 2 for Rimbaugh to give the Knights a 13-point advantage. Reich will pop the jumper. Missed it. Got his own rebound, though, somehow. In a crowd, loses the basketball. Alec Johnson, no look pass to Richardson up court. Back to Alec.
Rimbaugh open on the left wing, calling for it silently, not able to get it. Unfortunately, it might have been a wide open three-point shot, but the Knights still with possession.
And Rimbaugh with a nice dribble. Couldn't get the shot to go, but he got his own follow. Couldn't grab that one. And Galick finally rips down the rebound for the Spartans. Scamufo working on Price. Price with the defense. They're going to signal out of bounds, and last touched apparently by Price, which will give the ball to York with 17 on the shot clock.
What would have been an extremely impressive steal by Price as he picks his pocket twice and almost throws it off his legs to get possession, but it looks like Price's foot stepped on the line just last second.
Scamufo weaving through traffic. And Scamufo will drive to the basket. Too strong on the layup attempt. Rebound, Knights with 55 seconds to go till halftime. Knights trying to take this double-digit lead into the locker room. Thornton, he lowered his shoulder, and they call him for a travel, not a foul. And the turnover gives it back to York with 46 seconds to go.
And he lowered his shoulder pretty low there, Jim. You got to think that if it wasn't a travel, it wouldn't have been a foul. Gets away with the lucky one there. Lucky it is the travel, so no foul against him. But he's got to be a little smarter there below the basket.
Pass inside to Reich. Reich working on Thornton. And he got the shot to go to make it 33-22, so York pulls within 11. I believe the Knights' biggest lead in this first half was 16. Right now the lead is 11 points with 21 seconds to go. The shot clock is off. We'll see if the Knights play for the last shot of this first half. Richardson passing inside, pass knocked away, stolen away by York with 8 seconds to go until halftime. And they almost lost the ball. Drive to the basket, up and good by Callahan. And that is going to be it for the first half as York closing quickly, Jake, and what was a 16-point lead at 26-10 for the Knights. It'll end up being a 9-point halftime lead for the Knights. Still a good lead for the Knights at halftime, but we were talking about ideally for the Knights getting this thing up to 20 points after it was 26-10. Instead, the Knights end up going on a deficit run as York ends up scoring, at that point, 14 points to the Knights' 7. So they turn a 16-point lead to a 9-point lead for the Knights at halftime.
Absolutely, Jim. And a halftime lead could have easily been 11 or even 13, as you could hear Coach Caputo here with about 10 seconds left in the second half screaming, not too early,
Yep.
not too early, not too early. Don't know if Chris Richardson didn't hear him or just chose not to listen. Not really sure, but Chris Richardson forces the pass, causes a turnover, and York gets another easy basket to end the half. Coach Caputo obviously not happy and not satisfied with the 9-point lead, although the Knights, I'm sure, are happy to have the lead, looking to build upon that and not be complacent in the second half, as they will certainly have a challenge in front of them for the second half. Despite almost a 10-point lead, York is a very good basketball team, and the Knights will need to be on their A game to continue to grow this lead or maintain it and come away with the win here at home.
Yeah, York really struggled, Jake, in that first half. And they actually have to feel pretty good about themselves despite all the offensive struggles to only go in down by 9 points. Even though Tony Caputo has that 9-point lead, he's probably a little disappointed it's not bigger.
Absolutely, and you could see it on his face. The second the halftime buzzer went, he shook his head, his face was a little red, and he said, I said not too early. But that's what makes Coach Caputo such a great coach, is that he's not satisfied even with the lead. It needs to be great, and they need to be excellent. And although they have the 9-point lead, they haven't been excellent, and they have a little bit more to strive for here in the second half as they try to maintain this lead and come away with the win.
Halftime score, once again, it is Southern Virginia University 33 and York 24. We will take a break from the Knight Sports Arena.
Put your hands together for Southern Virginia Children's Squad.
Jake McMahon back here at the Knight Sports Arena. Halftime score once again, Southern Virginia 33 and York College 24. And the Knights lead here by 9 points as we are just a few seconds away, Jake, from getting the second half underway.
Absolutely. A couple key players for the Knights here in the first half were number 33, Aaron Rumball, sophomore from Washington with 8 points, and then Michael Price off the bench, number 20, also a sophomore with 9 points, on fire from three-point range. Both Aaron and Michael leading the Knights with regard to points. For York College of Pennsylvania, Blade Reich, the main high scorer for the Spartans with 8 points in the first half. Both teams looking pretty even with regard to turnovers, 11 to 10 there. The Knights trailing in rebounds overall, 13 to 16, with the majority of the rebounds for the Spartans actually coming by way of offensive rebound, leading the Knights 8 to 3 in offensive rebounds. The Knights going to need to find a way to get defensive rebounds and not allow the Spartans second chance opportunities rather under the basket on the offensive possessions.
I'm sure the Knights don't want to repeat of what happened in early December, where they had that December 3rd game against Wesley at home, and then a few days later on the road at Marymount, where they had first half leads and then ended up losing close ones in the second half.
Absolutely. The Knights are going to look to maintain their composure here in the second half, continue to play good defense like they've been doing so far. York only shooting 34% overall and 15% from behind the arc. The Knights doing a great job at not allowing York to get a lot of points. Even if York gets a few more points like you'd expect them to do here in the second half, the Knights need to find a way to answer on the offensive end.
So we are ready to go here in the second half from the Knight Sports Arena. The Knights actually had their lead up to 16 points in that first half at 26 to 10. York was able to close on a little bit of rush to get to within 9, and now we'll see how this second half shakes out. This is Gordon with it for York. Down low to Reich. Nice tip away by McCready.
McCready with a few of those really big momentum building plays in the first half with a block or two, and then a monster dunk down low with the wide open dunk, certainly building momentum here at home for the Knights. McCready looking to get involved here early in the second half.
And Reich gets free on the inbounds and scores, and he is fouled from behind and a chance at a three-point play.
And that's exactly what McCready doesn't want. He wants what he had in the first half is in order to build momentum. Gets a little antsy for the behind for the chase down block rather, and instead comes up with the foul. He needs to be careful.
Reich will try to complete a three-point play. Misses the foul shot. York has missed a few foul shots today. Lead is 33-26 Knights. Now we'll see if Southern Virginia can score on the Knights' first offensive possession of the second half. Richardson threw it away. He thought Alec Johnson was going to break towards the ball, but instead he went the other way. It's a turnover for Southern Virginia. So not a good beginning for the Knights here in this first half, or second half, as their 9-point halftime lead has been shaved down to 7. Reich against McCready. Fade away. No good. Rebound pulled down by Aaron Rumball. York is really swarming to that ball with some double teams here, Jake, early in the second half. Shea Douglas, who only got 5 minutes playing time in that first half. Richardson to McCready, got free, scores.
Good basket by Tyler McCready there to bounce back from that foul. An almost three-point play, able to get 2 points.
Knights trying to maintain that big lead, 9 points right now. It's Wright getting free, but he can't score. And the rebound pulled down by Southern Virginia. So they've got a 9-point lead and the ball and a chance to boost that lead back into the double digits. Over to Shea Douglas. Couldn't get the three, but there's McCready with a stick back. He couldn't get it out of his hands, but the Knights were able to maintain possession. Douglas, baseline, off balance, couldn't get the shot, and the rebound of the Spartans. Looks like Shea's kind of pressing a little bit. Scamufo missing from outside. Another rebound for Alec Johnson.
Alec Johnson doing a great job down low at finding the ball at its peak and jumping right at the right moment to get some really good rebounds over some guys that are a little bit bigger than he is. Rumball with the shot clock at 12. Step back jumper.
Oh, tough miss there, in and out.
Couple of unlucky shots for the Knights here to begin the second half, not getting in.
Beatty with a hesitation layup move, and he got it to go. And now it's 35-28, the lead back down to 7. York really double teaming that basketball, hoping for a turnover.
And we had Richardson wide open down low. Alec Johnson not seeing him. Richardson waving for would have been an easy layup for Richardson, but the Knights still have possession. Hopefully can make something happen to make up for what would have been an easy basket.
Rumbaugh open for another three. Good.
And there it is. I mean, we'll take the three-pointer any day. You know? 3 points more than 2.
38-28, Knights by 10. Scabufo is fouled by Shea Douglas. That's going to be his third. So Shea Douglas has picked up his third foul. He got 2 early fouls in the first half. Again, he only got 5 minutes playing time in the first half.
And you got to.
And he just picked up his third foul.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to agree with Coach Caputo there a little bit. Obviously upset on that call, as it looked like Scamufo might have lowered his shoulder pretty significantly into the chest of Shea Douglas, who draws the foul.
Steal by Aaron Rumbaugh. Headed to Douglas. Lob down low for McCready.
Just like that, the Knights up 12 now.
Double-digit lead for Southern Virginia University. Trying for their second conference victory of the season. Gordon, baseline. Charging is the foul on Gordon. He lowered the shoulder.
Lowered the shoulder and extended the arm. Very obvious call. Luckily, the Knights get that call there, where they didn't get the one against Shea Douglas, who ended up getting the foul, but the Knights will now get possession.
12-point lead for Southern Virginia. And the Knights are actually helping out, cleaning up the floor a little bit. Good chance to update volleyball here, Jake. A great battle in the first match today for Southern Virginia. They're on the road in Maryland.
Absolutely. The Knights fell in the first 2 sets against Elmira College, but have now come back to tie the series at 2-2 to avoid the sweep and now fight for the win in the 5th set. They're down 10-5 right now in the 5th set, but the Knights playing well over in Maryland.
They've had some nice wins, including 2 on Friday in their first season as men's volleyball. Breakout pass to Aaron Rumbaugh, and Beatty right there to block the shot. Great block by Beatty. Knights still have the basketball, though. Richardson driving baseline. Whoa, what a shot by Tyler McCready.
Impressive play there by Tyler McCready, who gets his body low and comes up with the right-handed hook layup. Very impressive by the freshman.
Boy, his future really looks bright. And Michael Price really battling today, almost got the steal. But you look at the freshmen they've got on the court right now. Alec Johnson, Tyler McCready, just to name a couple. Future really looks bright for the Knights here for basketball. 14-point lead. Lob down low as Gordon got free. He is fouled, and he's got a chance at a 3-point play. That's almost a defensive play there, almost, Jake, where you say, well, he's got a wide open layup. Best not to foul him and make it a 3-point play. That foul is called on Alec Johnson, his second.
And unfortunately, the ball goes in anyway. And now we do have a shot at a 3-point play for the Spartans.
Gordon got the free throw. It's an 11-point Southern Virginia lead now at 42-21. They had the lead up to 14. Their biggest lead today has been 16. Almost a steal. With an 11-point lead, the Knights want to work the shot clock, I'm sure, every time down whenever possible here, Jake, just to run a little game clock. But they don't want to go into a freeze, not just yet, obviously, not with over 15 minutes to go. But then again, they do want to, maybe whenever possible, take a few seconds off the clock.
And so far this game, the Knights' possessions have been a little longer than they're used to, as York is playing some pretty aggressive defense. Rumbaugh goes in looking for the putback dunk, one-handed.
Almost had that too.
But unable
Beatty
to get it.
Works away from Price. Price swats the ball away. Richardson picks up the loose ball. Breaks the other way. Chris all the way. Blocked again by Gordon the other way. Great defense on both sides of the court. Scamufo driving to the basket, and he is fouled.
We have a defensive boxing match going on here, Jim, and it's fun to watch. You see Price with the emphatic swipe. Steal, Richardson gets it, goes down the court, and Gordon with the chase down block. York now with possession, but some pretty impressive defense going on both sides of the ball here this afternoon.
Richardson picked up his first foul. Inbounds pass comes to Scamuffo. He backs it out to Gordon for a three. He missed it. Rebound, Aaron Rimbaugh, almost taken away. See what the call is here.
The initial call on the court right now is a foul rather than a jump ball. The foul would be against number 5, Jared Wagner for the Spartans.
Aaron Rimbaugh slammed the ball down, and they call him for a technical. So Rimbaugh did slam the ball down, but the referee right on the spot did not signal a technical, but another referee came in and signaled technical. So the foul was originally on York.
And York still will get the foul. But unfortunately, the technical a little more grievous against the Knights.
And it's going to be Scamuffo shooting the foul shot. His team's down by 11. Knights on top here with 14:47 to go. Makes the first one. One more coming. It's also the 5th team foul now on Southern Virginia. And Scamuffo hits both foul shots to cut that lead back down to single digits, back down to 9 now, as Shea Douglas will check in for Rimbaugh. So it's a 9-point Southern Virginia lead. 5 team fouls on the Knights, 2 team fouls so far in this second half for the Spartans.
Typically after a technical, York would have had the ball, but due to the foul against Jared Wagner, the Knights will maintain possession here following the technical shots.
Foul called inside against McCready this time. That's the 6th team foul on Southern Virginia. And looks like McCready may come out of the game for Cale Thornton.
McCready had a word with the referee who seemed to signal to McCready that his arm came over the shoulder of the York defender in an effort to gain more advantageous position over York College.
His 4th foul, Jake, and that's a huge blow to the Knights because McCready was really doing a great job offensively for the Knights.
You're exactly right. They're going to save him probably to the last few minutes of this game before they'll bring him back out.
Driving to the basket, reverse layup, wild shot, no good, but there is Gaelic to clean it up and put it in. And now York has cut that lead back down to 7 after the Knights had jumped the lead to at least 12, maybe 14. Their biggest lead today is 16. I believe the Knights here in the second half had a 14-point lead, but now it's 7. Lob down low. They tried to squeeze it into Thornton, knocked away by the Spartans. Scamuffo off to Beatty, and he scores. And now the Knights may need a timeout. Their lead is down to 5. Looks like we may have a media timeout coming up here momentarily. Tony Caputo was very close to maybe wanting to call a timeout.
Realizing that there is the media timeout, he'll get a free one rather than having to call one on his own.
Shot clock's at 5. Price to Alex Johnson. Step back jumper. No good. And York's got the rebound, only trailing now by 5. Wagner scores to make it a 3-point lead now for Southern Virginia. And the Knights will take a timeout. Not going to wait for the media timeout, Jake, as their lead, which I believe got as high as 14 in the second half and was 16 in the first half, is all the way down to 3.
And we will talk a little bit more about our happenings here on the court after these messages.
You get out what you put in. or actually you get out probably more than you put in. But if you put in effort, you'll always be blessed for that.
These participants have never experienced mission life before, so they've never experienced working with a companion, teaching with a companion, eating with a companion.
Every kid is completely different. So each kid needs to progress in different ways, and they have different strengths and weaknesses when they come in.
Just being here, I've felt so much love from God and from everybody here.
Being with all these different youth and leaders and returned missionaries, the Spirit is definitely here.
I thought if you knew your doctrine, then you can teach a lesson. But the thing is, you need to invite the Spirit, because sometimes we don't know the things that are going on in other people's life, and the Spirit tells us those things.
As you teach about the Spirit, as you learn about the nature of the Spirit, what the Holy Ghost can do, all the different hats the Holy Ghost wears. If you come here and you want to get better and you want to improve yourself and prepare yourself to be a missionary, you're going to do that.
Southern Virginia on top by 3, but it's an 11-0 run, I believe, by York, who once at one point in the second had trailed 42-28. Now it's 42-39. Knights taking that time out and almost threw it away. They did throw it away. It's picked up by Wagner, and he scores. A turnover by the Knights, and suddenly the lead is all the way down to 1.
As we talked about earlier, Jim, mental composure. The Knights need to mentally stick into this game. They are still in it. They're still ahead by 1 point. They could still get a basket here and extend their lead, and they need to realize that. They are in good shape, and they need to be able to stay calm.
Amazing the way York has turned this game around. And now we'll see how the Knights answer if they can get a big basket here. Price driving. Couldn't get the shot to go. Beatty climbing the back, grabs the rebound. And now York can actually take the lead with a basket. Gordon to Beatty, right side, Wagner. Now Scamuffo. Back to Gordon. Long jump shot by Wagner, no good. And the Knights grab the rebound, leading by 1. And Richardson is going to be called for the foul. He kind of threw his shoulder with Gordon coming up from behind him, and the referee, seeing the contact, felt obliged, I guess, to call a foul, and he had to call it on Richardson, and that's his second, but that's also the 7th team foul on the Knights. And now we've got contact between Alec Johnson and a York player. Don't know where that came from, except maybe obviously York was gathered in a huddle, and we got a technical on York. Looked like Alec Johnson was walking back to his teammates there, Jake, and one of the York players didn't really see it. Maybe took exception, and they nail York with a technical. So things are unraveling here quickly. The referee's trying to get a hold of this game, calm everybody down, because we still have over 11 minutes to go.
Interesting turn of events here, Jim. I thought the initial offensive foul against Richardson was interesting. It almost looked as if Gordon came down and intentionally threw his body into Richardson before diving a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was a flop or not.
I'm not sure if it was a flop or not, but either way, it is what it is. Richardson with the foul against him, technical against the Spartans, and here we have a very intense game here on our hands.
Richardson missed a foul shot. And I believe they hit Gordon with a technical, and that's his 4th foul. And he's one of their top offensive players. As Richardson got 1 out of 2 foul shots to boost that lead to 2. And Gordon now with those 4 fouls is going to check out of the game. So it's 43 Southern Virginia University, 41. Now York will have the basketball, trailing by 2. Knights playing straight up man defense. Scamuffo with a 3, hits, and York has its first lead of the game, 44-43.
Scamuffo was feeling that shot before he even took it, and he knew it was going in the second it left his fingers. Beautiful shot, nothing but net by Mike Scamuffo.
The Knights have led all the way up until now. And now we'll see how the Knights respond to giving up the lead. Rim ball, right baseline. Over to Richardson. He's going to fire a three. No good. And the rebound to York. Scamufo trying to lead the break. Goes over to Frauenheim, and he can't hit a three-pointer. And the Knights grab a big rebound. Dodged a bullet that time. That three would have given York a 4-point lead. Now the Knights can reclaim the lead with a basket. Down low, Thornton. He got free. Scores, and the Knights are back on top, 45-44.
Good job by Cale Thornton there to not go for any extravagant type of 2 points there, going for the slam. Easy 2 points, and the Knights are now ahead again with their third lead change of the game.
Foul called inside. Looks like it's going to go against the Knights. That would be the 8th team foul, and it would send York to the foul line. These fouls, all these fouls against the Knights here, 8 team fouls, Jake, only 3 team fouls on York. We'll see if foul shooting decides this contest in the final 10 minutes.
Game's very intense, Jim. Unfortunately, it seems that York is channeling that intensity for their good, and Southern Virginia right now seems to be channeling that intensity towards fouls and physical play. The Knights need to be careful.
That was Johnson's 3rd foul. And Scamufo hits the foul shot. York had struggled in the first half, missing a few foul shots. That foul shot ties the game with 10:23 to go. Crowd really getting into it. They've been into it all game, but especially now. Big miss there. Game stays tied at 45. Knights trying to pick up their 2nd conference win. York really in need of a win to stay in the top 6 of the conference. Pass down low, Cale Thornton. Back outside to Alec Johnson. Now Shea Douglas. Step back jumper. Air ball. Gaelic will fire a jumper and miss. Probably not the shot that York wanted. He was really flat on that shot and short. And now the Knights can take the lead back with the basket.
Playing very sticky defense against Rashae Douglas right now, despite the fact they didn't play almost the entire first half. They recognize his threat.
Blocked by Gaelic. And Wagner all the way is fouled. So Jared Wagner will go to the foul line. And the fouls are really starting to pile up against Southern Virginia. Alec Johnson just picked up his 4th. And Langford will have to replace him. So 2 shots coming up here for Jared Wagner.
I'm surprised they're just now pulling Alec Johnson from the game. Obviously flustered and a little just out of his own mind right now following that technical foul against York College and that scuffle between him and, who was it, number 20, Darren Gordon. Now finally getting out of the game as he's drawn another 2 quick fouls following that technical and finds himself with 4. It'll probably be good for him to get a little bit of a breather.
And Langford replaces him. Edmonds is also in to replace Richardson, and now here comes Price in to replace Shea Douglas at a 45-45 tie ball game. York just missing the first foul shot. 1 more coming. 19 fouls on Southern Virginia, just 3 team fouls on York. And York has the lead at 46-45. Still a long way to go in this game, over 9 minutes to go. Langford goes baseline. Now it's Jace Edmonds. Shot clock at 7. Michael Price back to Edmonds for a jump shot. No good. Rebound. Cale Thornton lost it. He's fouled. And Cale Thornton will go to the foul line to shoot 2. That's the 4th team foul on York.
Great heads-up play by Cale Thornton. To the second he touched the ball, he went up for the shot. Probably would have been a foul either way. Had he not gone up for the shot, it probably would have been a foul, but stayed on the floor, and the Knights wouldn't have had shots. But because Kale immediately went up with the ball the second he got the rebound, the foul now turns into 2 shots for the Knights and an opportunity to regain the lead if he makes both of them. Even if he makes one, they tie.
76% foul shooter. First one, no good. One more coming. Trying to tie this game with his foul shot. Missed them both. Rebound York. 1 point lead for the Spartans. Beatty open for a 3. Missed it. Ball knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be Spartans basketball with 29 on the shot clock. Knights led by 16 in the first half. Had a 14-point lead in the second half. But now it's York on top by 1 as Kellen Winslow replaces Aaron Rumbaugh. Jared Wagner inbounding outside to Reich. Reich going to drive on Cale Thornton, and he is fouled from behind, maybe by Edmonds. Either Edmonds or Thornton is going to be called for the foul, and it's going to be Thornton from the front side picking it up. That's his third.
You see the coaches from the sideline arguing that it was number 11, Jace Edmonds, trying to get the foul switched to number 11 to try to keep Thornton out of a little bit of foul trouble.
We'll have to talk about who the referee actually called it on. And are they going to switch it? Don't appear so. The referee signals he called it on Thornton. That's his third. And Reich hits both foul shots to give York a 3-point lead. Well, we got a immediate timeout at 48-45. Knights on top here Knights trailing by 3.
When I came to Southern Virginia University, I wanted to grow as a person. I knew that if I were able to come to this environment, I would grow academically, personally, and spiritually. I've made more friends here than I ever could have imagined. Some of my best friends are the professors at the school. At Southern Virginia University, I've had more opportunities to be involved than I would have had anywhere else. This is the school that will change your life. My name is Kirsten Lawrence, and I'm a Knight.
Good crowd on here, and they're watching a great ball game today. Knights led by 16 in the first half, led by 9 at halftime. Got that lead up to 14 at 42-28, and now York on a big surge, retaking the lead, taking the lead for the first time in the second half, and now currently with a 3-point lead, 48-45. Knights trying to work it across the timeline. They do to Winslow. Knights only trail here by 3. And we've still got 8:18 on the clock here in the second half. Michael Price had some big shots in the first half, looking to make one here. Over to Winslow with 4 on the shot clock. Step back jumper, no good. Edmonds tips it out.
Great heads-up play there by Edmonds.
Shot clock resets for the Knights. Trying to get a big basket. They've only scored 12 points in the second half. 24 in the second half for York. Shot clock winding down again. We're down to 10 of the shot clock. Edmonds, we're going to have to hurry here. Shot clock at 5. Winslow with a jumper. No good again on the three-point bomb. And the rebound to York. It's going to be Wagner all the way. Couldn't get the shot to go, but there's Beatty following and scoring. And
Johnson,
now it is a 5-point lead.
Johnson could have easily had the offensive foul there, Jim. As we could see, he fell down before, who was it, number 5, Jared Wagner, made contact. And it was pretty obvious that he fell down well before Wagner got there. In that situation, you just got to sacrifice your body and take the contact. His feet were planted, there was no doubt about it, but no contact was made before he fell to the ground.
Yeah, Wagner was definitely coming. He was coming with a big steam underway, and if there had been any contact, most likely would have been a charge. But Beatty, following the shot, gives his team a 5-point lead. Now the Knights really need a basket here, trailing by 5 for the first time today.
And you have to think that also when you fall before contact's made, there can be arguments made for a flop, which flopping, when it first kind of became a real thing in basketball or in sports in general, was just kind of humorous. But now there's actually penalties and fouls to be given against flopping. You got to be careful.
Alex Johnson over to Cale Thornton. He couldn't get the shot in to go, but he follows and draws some contact. And Cale Thornton will go to the foul line to shoot 2. He came very close on both occasions to getting that ball to go in the hoop.
So following the foul by Cale Thornton, or against Cale Thornton rather, before he goes to the line for 2 shots, we will have a media timeout, and we'll be back again after these messages.
.654 to go, 50-45 York on top. Got some good news, Jake, about men's volleyball.
Absolutely, as the Knights were down 2-0 over at Elmira College in Maryland. Well, they weren't playing out Elmira College. They had a tri-match over in Maryland. They actually ended up winning the match 3-2 against Elmira.
And they still have one more match coming after that. Cale Thornton, big foul shot there to make it 50-46. York, after trailing 42-28, had gone on a 22-3 run to take a 5-point lead. But Thornton got 1 out of 2 to cut the lead down to 4. And now the Knights will have to go to work on defense.
Thornton, an overall good free throw shooter, but looking like the pressure getting to him a little bit here in his last 2 trips to the line as he's 1 for 4.
They go into Reich. Over to Wagner. Misses the 3. Reich had the rebound, lost it out of bounds. It's going to be Knights basketball. Galak checks in for York. 4-point lead for the Spartans. Knights, another chance here to cut into this lead. Only down by 4 after they led by 14 earlier in this half. Led by 9 at halftime. Rimbaugh driving. trying to pass it over to Thornton, get free, and he's fouled by Reich.
Thornton doing a great job at drawing fouls below the basket here in the second half. This will be his third trip to the free throw line in the past 3 minutes, Jim. And hopefully he can get these two to fall. Maybe the pressure coming off his shoulders a little bit as he's finding his trips to the free throw line a little more frequent.
First foul shot is perfect. 16th foul on York. Second foul on Reich. So both teams shooting foul shots the rest of the way. Thornton misses the second one, and the rebound to York. Three-point lead for the York Spartans. Man-to-man defense by Southern Virginia. This is Beatty with it. Scamufo hit the ground hard, comes up limping. Looked like he slipped and fell. He may need to come out, we'll see. Alec Johnson's got it on the miss by York, and the Knights have a chance to tie with a three. Shea Douglas baseline, scores!
Beautiful, beautiful drive to the bucket by Rashae Douglas for his first few points of this game. Hopefully can gain some momentum in the last 5 minutes of the second half.
Reich backs his way in, fadeaway jumper is no good. Southern Virginia with the rebound. Alec Johnson is fouled. And the Knights will actually have a chance here to reclaim the lead at the foul line.
The foul will be against number 40, Zach Galick, who is not in particular foul trouble. But that will bring the Knights into the bonus for the 7th team foul in the second half against the Spartans. The Knights will go to the line for a 1-and-1.
And McCready, who's got 4 fouls, checks back into the game, replacing Cale Thornton. With 5:16 to go, the Knights have a chance here from the foul line to retake the lead.
Now McCready's going to have to play smart, Jim, as he enters the game. Spartans are well aware of his potential to do some damage below the basket, and they also know he's got 4 fouls. They'll be trying to get him to foul here probably within the next couple of possessions to get him out of the game.
Another big miss, Jake, at the foul line. Knights could have gotten a couple of free throws and retake the lead. Here's Beatty on a drive over to Fronheim. Back to Beatty inside. Beatty working on the baseline, double dribble, turnover, Knights basketball. York just doesn't really have that go-to guy on offense,
which can both hurt them and benefit them in a way. All of them are capable of doing damage on offense. They spread the ball out pretty well at York College of Pennsylvania. But sometimes in high-pressure situations, it's good to have that go-to guy as well.
Under 5 minutes on the clock now, 50-49, York by 1. Their biggest lead, I believe, today has been 4. Knights' biggest lead, 16. Southern Virginia looking to retake the lead. Down to McCready, and he scores.
Saw the mismatch down low, McCready against a defender much less his size for the easy bucket, and the Knights retake the lead, 51-50.
5-0 run by the Knights after they trailed by 4 at 50-46. Shea Douglas is called for an outside foul. That's his 4th. So 4 fouls on Shea Douglas. And to the foul line of Scamufo.
The Spartans in the double bonus here will get 2 free shots.
That ties it at 51. Scamufo, leading scorer for York for the season, puts his team back on top as Blade Reich will check back in for Galick. So it is 52-51 York.
Scamufo not really making his presence known in the first half very much. Well, then again, Neither did most of the team of York College of Pennsylvania, but Scamufo having a phenomenal second half here as he's brought his team back from a large deficit, now leading the Knights 52-51.
Anybody's game down the stretch. Still got 4:23 on the clock. In regulation, McCready to Shea Douglas. Douglas driving over to Alex Johnson. Will try a three. It's no good. It's an air ball. The rebound to York. Ahead, the pass comes to Scamufo. He'll fire a three. It's too strong. Rebound tipped away, and McCready comes out of there with it. Fast break Knights. Alex Johnson, hesitation. Tried to reverse his course. And Frauenheim was right there. Down low to McCready. He is fouled.
With the mismatches down low, Blade Reich would typically be in that position for York College of Pennsylvania in the paint. But in these fast transition moments for the Knights, they're having to just get on whoever they can, and they're finding McCready in mismatch situations.
Now McCready's only a 52% foul shooter coming in. See if he can hit these. First one missed. Knights are missing a lot of foul shots here, Jake, down the stretch.
Certainly would be a different ball game here, Jim, had the foul shots been made. Second shot coming up for Tyler McCready.
That one's good. Ties the game at 52. .350 to go in regulation. Southern Virginia 52. York 52. Who will take the shot for the Spartans? Lob down low for Reich. He scores. He got away from McCready to make it 54-14 here in the second half. And then York went on a big run of 22-3. Back and forth over the last few minutes, but right now it's the Spartans by 2.
It's anyone's game. Both teams are punching back and then jabs the next way. Both defensive playing very sticky. Both teams coming up with a couple clutch shots, drawing fouls. We have an even ball game here as of now. Overall, in the second half, the Knights slipped heavily, and the Spartans have performed better in the second half. But anyone's game at this point, Jim. Both teams now seem to be back on level pegging with regard to performing at about the same level, and it will be interesting how things turn out here in the last 3.5 minutes of play in the second half here in the Knight Sports Arena.
Well, the Knights have been involved in several close games this year. Earlier, as we mentioned, they had the first half lead against Wesley and Marymount back in December, lost those games. About 10 days ago, they lost to Frostburg by a single point. Then again, they were involved in a close one in their only conference win so far against Mary Washington, won that by 5 points.
Absolutely. The Knights are looking to get a Capital Athletic Conference win here at home. So far this year, they are 2-4 at home and only 1-10 on the road. Certainly a better team at home, looking to improve to 3-4 at home against York College today. 3.5 minutes remaining here in the second half. The Spartans lead the Knights 54-52.
Both teams again shooting from the foul line the remainder of the way. Knights have over 10 team fouls. York has 8 team fouls. The Knights trail here by 2. Big trip down. It's Shea Douglas, who's got 4 fouls himself. To Alex Johnson. Man-to-man defense by York. Pass down low. It's picked up by the York Spartans. It looked like Rumbaugh tried to force that ball in, and they paid for it with a turnover.
Forced it in at the belt line of Tyler McCready with a man that's 6'10". Like Tyler McCready, you got to put it up high and hit him in the hands.
Wagner to Reich. Now to Beatty. Now Scamufo. He'll fire a long 3. It's no good. Crucial miss for York. Rebound, Alex Johnson. 2:45 to go. Knights trail here by 2.
Both teams playing a little more patiently now following the timeout. Not forcing it. Both teams looking to play methodically to secure a win.
Knights in their half-court offense looking for a good shot. McCready outside of Richardson. Now they go to the left to Shea Douglas, and he could barely got that shot off. It was short. Loose ball's on the floor, thrown away by the Knights as Douglas was trying to get it over to Chris Richardson. Really couldn't get a good handle on it, and as a result, the ball goes out of bounds, and it's York basketball with 2:18 on the clock.
You're almost surprised to see Richardson not take the initial shot before passing twice to Shea Douglas, who did get a pretty clean shot, but it seemed Richardson was wide open, Jim.
will take this shot for York. Beatty's going to try it. And he hits a three.
Nothing but nylon.
He looks like he has really been their best offensive player in the second half, maybe game for the entire game. And he gives his team a 5-point lead with 1:45 to go. Now the Knights really need a basket.
Shooting 39% on the season from the three-point line. Blade Reich comes in with a huge block against Aaron Rumbaugh. Statement block right there. The Knights will maintain possession, but need to find a way to build momentum again here in the last 1 minute and 40 seconds of play.
Knights had 33 points at halftime, just 19 points in the second half. York has scored 33 in the second half. Inbounds pass with 14 on the shot clock. Now the Knights really need a basket. It's Shea Douglas. Shot clock's down to 8. Will Douglas fire on his way to the basket? Foul called. And Shea will shoot some foul shots. Blade Reich will pick that one up. I believe that's his third. So Shea Douglas to the foul line. He's a 67% foul shooter, and he needs them both. Big make there to make it a 4-point game. That one's too strong, and the Knights almost had the rebound, but it goes to York. So now York's got a 4-point lead at the ball.
McCready and Rumbaugh competed a little bit there for that rebound, and unfortunately, probably to their disadvantage, as neither of them come up with the rebound.
Wagner threw it away to Richardson. Fast break, and the ball knocked out of bounds. Foul called on Frauenheim. He stops the layup and will sit. And now they've got a chance to cut into this 4-point deficit with some foul shots.
And now they are in the double bonus, Jim, which means they will get 2 shots rather than the 1-on-1, despite the fact that the foul was on the floor.
Rumbaugh hits the first one.
Michael Price, a great free throw shooter. They'll be looking for him to take probably some aggressive drives at the basket and draw some fouls. Hopefully get some free points here in the last minute and 11 seconds of play.
Another missed foul shot by the Knights. They have missed a lot of shots here, and maybe those missed free throws are really accentuated by the closeness of this game here, Jake.
Like we said earlier, it would be a much different game had the Knights made their free throw shots, having trouble to find 2 in a row.
Scamufo trying to go baseline. He misses from the down by 3 with. They don't have to take the 3. They'd love to get a 3-pointer to tie the game. And now the Knights have to foul, and they foul Beatty. With 22 seconds to go, Beatty, who came in averaging 9.7 a game, is a 71% foul shooter. Kind of surprised Chris Richardson maybe didn't look at that 3-pointer from the top of the key. He tried to force that ball into McCready. And as a result, it's a 3-point York lead with 22 seconds on the clock.
You wonder why Richardson isn't pulling the trigger on those threes, Jim. That's now 2 within the last 3 minutes that Richardson.
9 of 24 coming into the game. 30.
Rather, they force the pass to Tyler McCready, who can't handle it,
especially,
and they come up with a turnover and have to foul.
Especially when you obviously realize that 3-pointer ties the game. A 2-pointer, still York would be on top by 1.
And you'd have to foul either way.
Right.
So you almost have to go for the 3-point shot in that situation. Certainly an interest to see if York can capitalize on their free throws here. If they do, they make it a goal. If they make 2, it's a 2-possession game with only 22 seconds remaining in the game. The Knights would have to get a quick 2 or 3-point shot if both of these free throws are made by Jason Beatty. You got to think that he might make both of them, considering the fact that he is a 70% free throw shooter.
This will be a tough one to take if the Knights end up losing this game. They led by 16 in the first half, 9 at halftime, 14 in the second half. And then York went on that 22-3 run to go from 14 down to.
They have a young team and they need to learn. They would never wish that upon anybody. The Knights obviously would love to come away with this win.
And you look upon the Marymount game, the Wesley game, the Frostburg 6-6. Knights are still alive, trailing.
You put this game away.
Beatty got the lead of 23. They have missed 10 foul shots. McCready with the rebound. Off to Price. He'll try a three-pointer, and it's no good. Douglas with the rebound. He'll fire a three. Good!
And he gets it with 8 seconds left in the game. That is absolutely...
But he got the three-pointer, but there was no...
An extremely impressive three-point shot by Shea Douglas. And you got to give credit to the Knights offense as a whole as they were able to continue producing offensive rebounds.
And it was really hard for us to see, Jake. I just... Contact, if there was contact and a missed foul, or if there was no contact.
Whether there was contact or not, 7 seconds left in the game, you have an up foul.
And the Knights are in a spot that even if York hits their 2 foul shots, again, the Knights can tie with a 3.
They're got York College of Pennsylvania makes both of their free throws. On the last trip to the line, Jason Beatty only made 1 of 2.
And if he were to make 1 of 2 and the Knights were able to get a 3, they would actually win.
Right, and going to the Laird Wagner, who is a 74% free throw, all around a good free throw shooting team.
You know, if you're in the York huddle, you're 2 foul shots. Do we foul so they can't take a 3-point shot?
There are many, many options, and you know you'd love to be a fly on the wall in the Southern Virginia University huddle right now as they're drawing up plays with this game.
A lot of things will depend, obviously, about these upcoming foul shots. 58-57, York by 1.
On the court for the Knights, we have number 20, Michael Price. Either Michael Price or at the end of the game, Jim.
Point lead for York. I'm sure the coach from York. York hits both foul shots to make it a 3-point game, and now the Knights will obviously have to set up to give the Knights maybe 3 free throws.
Obviously fired up as he heads back to the huddle, screaming and yelling and pumping his fists, and he deserves it. But there are still 7.1 seconds to go. In basketball, 7 seconds is an eternity, especially in a game this close. The Knights have an opportunity to tie with a 3-point shot, or if they get fouled and make a shot, they get an opportunity for a 4-point play, which could potentially lead them to the win. Lots of opportunities for both teams to win the basketball game here with 7.1 seconds remaining. 7.
And if the Knights end up losing this game, again, at least 10 missed foul shots, that might be the most critical.
Coach Caputo is not happy with the fact that had the Knights made their free throw shots at this point, Jim, they would be up 4.
Certainly, but Michael Price and Shea Douglas for a turnover either. Let's see if they foul. Michael Price will call a timeout with just 1.9 seconds to go. So they call a timeout, but there's just under 2 seconds to go. And it should be enough time, Jake, for the Knights to get a shot off. But I'm sure when they were thinking about bringing it up court and calling a timeout, they were hoping maybe for 3 seconds, not 2 or 1.9 seconds to go.
Absolutely. A couple of the assistant coaches, obviously.
Price got the inbounds pass that he hesitated the slightest moment before he started motoring up court.
Absolutely. And center court line before he called the timeout. I mean, you know, you can get mad at whoever's working the score clock as much as you want, but in the end you hesitated, and they'll have to do so if they hope to tie this game with a 3-point shot, or if they draw the foul, maybe go to the line for a 4-point play or 3 free throws to tie it.
Doesn't appear that York is going to foul on purpose to avoid Southern Virginia getting off a 3-point shot.
Absolutely not, and I don't think the Knights are going to look to draw a foul either. They're going to look to just get off a clean 3-point shot here with 1.9 remaining in this game.
And you don't have a whole lot of time to fool around. The inbounds pass, I'm not sure if you got time to actually make a pass and get a shot off. It would be close.
Absolutely. You can hear
they call a timeout.
Defense, you can see the assistant coaches before Alex Johnson took the inbound. 4 seconds right there of time passed during the inbound, and the assistant coaches were screaming, call time. Alec did hear him, and he called the timeout, and they'll have another opportunity. Out of timeouts now. They're going to have to make the inbound pass here, or else the game will end. Fifth of Southern Virginia University.
And if you're York defensively, you can actually, if you're one of the big inside players guarding one of Southern Virginia's inside players, you can act around the perimeter, because a 2-point shot inside the perimeter line isn't going to really help Southern Virginia at all.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what you're seeing, especially on that inbound pass, is all of the defenders are sitting around the perimeter. And if the Knights pass inside the 3-point line, York College of Pennsylvania can foul, and then the Knights only have 2 shots off the 3-point.
Again, they led by 9 at halftime, but York made a big second half run. Alex Johnson will inbounds. Who will they get it into? We're going to have to hurry. Still had a timeout left, and they call it another timeout because of the inability to get the ball in.
I guess I was wrong. I guess they did have another timeout.
Now.
Yeah, more timeouts.
So
and you
Sam
see who's coming in.
Armstrong is going to check in now for the Knights. Another three-point threat. Wouldn't be surprised if Sam
came over to the table, slapped in with a big smile on his face. He's happy to have the opportunity to get into the game and possibly have an opportunity for a game-tying shot. Tony Caputo pulling out all the stops there, putting in his three-point shooters to make sure.
Wonder if they'll change things now and maybe let maybe Richardson inbounds the ball, or if they'll let Alec Johnson continue to do the inbounding.
It'll be interesting. Alex definitely a little bit hesitant right now on the inbound shots. I mean, from the spot that they're inbounding at, it's definitely not a.
In Armstrong.
But at this point, he's going to have to be aggressive and get the ball inbounds within 5 seconds.
It'll come to Shea Douglas. Fires at the buzzer. Oh, he missed it.
And he missed it. And the Knights will fall in an absolute heartbreaker to the Spartans at York College of Pennsylvania, 57-60. They had a 16-point lead in the first half. Went into half team way through the second half, Jim, on a basketball game.
And so with the victory, York improves to 7-5 in the conference and 12-7 on the season now, whereas the Knights drop to 1-11 in the conference, 3-16 on the season. Tough loss, as we talked about earlier back in December. The Knights had the halftime lead against Wesley and Marymount, lost those two games, lost by 1 point to Frostburg just about a week and a half ago, and ended up losing this one by 3. So 1-11 in the conference, but again, they could easily have 5 or 6 wins, be right around the 500 mark.
That's absolutely true, Jim. And the Knights are going to be back at home, as you said, next week. Wednesday against Marymount, then against Penn State Harrisburg before taking the road to Frostburg State on the 8th of February, and then on the 11th to Salisbury University up in Maryland. And then they'll be back at home to finish out their season against Christopher Newport and St. Mary's of Maryland, the Eagles. And the Knights are looking to salvage a few wins here in the Capital Athletic Conference at the end of their season as they lose in a heartbreaker here at home. Certainly probably happy upon the improvement in comparison to their last loss to York College, which was 40-point loss. Now today only by 3, and they did lead the majority of the game.
Yep.
Hopefully they were able to take a little bit of that momentum, learn from the first half, continue to do that in the next game, and then fix the second half mistakes and come out with a big win against Marymount this week.
Yeah, for those who weren't with us earlier, first of all, we want to mention the score of the women's game. Our first game today, it was York 84 and Southern Virginia 61. For this men's contest, the Knights, as you mentioned, Jake, the Knights actually led by 16 in the first half. They led by 9 at halftime. They upped that lead to 14 in the second half, and then Southern Virginia kind of went cold from the field. York really made some big plays, and York went on a 22-3 run. They actually took the lead. The lead went back and forth, and the Knights actually see York end up with a 60-57 win. And obviously York made some big plays, and if there's one area, I guess if the Knights want to look at where they maybe potentially could have actually had this game in hand, it was the foul shooting, as the Knights finished 13 of 23 from the foul line.
Absolutely, and I mean, the statistics speak for themselves. The Knights shot 47.8% from the field in the first half and came out in the second half only shooting 26.7%. The Spartans didn't improve heavily on their first half percentages, only improving 8% in the second half from 32 to 40 from the field and shooting a mere 16.7% behind the arc in the second half. The Knights just weren't able to make it happen on the offensive end and fell quickly on that large run by the Spartans. And as we've said, heartbreaker here at home, Jim.
So they've had 2 heartbreakers in a row now to Frostburg, 74-73, 1-point loss about a week and a half ago, and now this 3-point loss to York, and plenty of chances coming up at home to try to bounce back from these close losses, as you mentioned, with Marymount coming to town on Wednesday, and then Penn State Harrisburg here at home a week from today.
Looking to get back on track.
So that'll wrap things up here from the Knight Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan. Thanks again to Jake McMahon, Josh Adams, our fine director, and all of our production staff here at Southern Virginia University. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, for Knights basketball. Have a great evening, everyone.